Hey, everybody. Hello.
Hey,
Hey, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's see. Some people are still joining. Let's wait just a few minutes. It's so good to see the room full like this. Great. All right, so while people are joining us, let me introduce myself first, right? So some of you already know me. Some of you might be chatting with me for the first time today. So my name is Aline. I've been working with VanHack since January last year. I was a VanHacker before. I used to be a PHP developer, so I kind of know what it feels to be searching for a job abroad. Yeah, and I've been working at VanHack doing this preparation stuff with VanHackers. I'm the leader of preparation in terms of mock interviews. So we do have some interview advisors working with me. And every time you guys get an interview scheduled through VanHack, you will probably receive an invitation to book your mock interviews. Other than that, I am also with the Premium Academy, where we are practicing for technical interviews. So it's been very fun. We have been working on different exercises and so on. Yeah, so I need to plug in my computer here, which is a very important step, right? When interviewing or when having calls. In the meantime, I would like to hear a little bit about you. So I know some of you are premium members. Some of you are here because you invited your friends to VanHack. Some of you are going through any step of interviews through VanHack. So that's why you were invited as well. So yeah, tell me a little bit, like, where are you from? What do you expect from here? No, I'm not in Vancouver. I'm in Brazil. So don't worry, I'm not sleepy. It's not 6:30 a.m. for me. It's actually 11:30 a.m. So yeah, and by the way, even though it's not mandatory to keep your cameras on, but it's really good. It's a cool thing to do. So you get used to it. For interviews, you will need to have your cameras on. You will need to speak looking at the camera. So take this as an opportunity to start practicing that as well, okay? And by the way, it would be awesome to see you guys. So I don't feel like I'm talking to myself, right? And don't be shy. I see some of our members from Premium Academy. Okay. So yeah, someone is asking about different sessions. No, this is the only session we're going to have from today to Thursday, unfortunately. Yeah, I know it's hard to handle time zone differences.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Freddy Valderrama. I'm from Venezuela. My expectation with this interview is improve my skill speaking in a new interview in the future.
Great.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Anyone else would like to share your expectations?
hi, Aline.
Or
Just to share here, as a premium member, my expectations is for us to wrap up everything we have seen so far in this short week. so we can make a really good material on all the tips that we can handle.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. What else? Anything else before we start?
Hey everyone.
Hello.
I'm Toby from Nigeria, Abuja. Currently going through the interview process. So I did get the invite for the boost, so I just felt it would be necessary to attend. My expectation is to get as much knowledge as I can from this session and hopefully get employed.
Awesome. Great. And as I usually like to do when we have members from the Premier Academy, do you guys have any piece of advice on how to make the best of our time together? I see some of you here. I'll start calling names.
Well, the first one is do participate. Make sure you get the opportunity to talk, and one thing is to get to use English in writing or reading, but when you actually have to speak, it's a complete different experience, and this is the place to train and get some feedback on it, because in the end it's all about communication. It doesn't really matter what you're doing or what your technical skills. When interviewing, it's all about how you express yourself and how you behave. So use this opportunity to practice.
Yes, cool. Yeah, this is the place to make mistakes so you don't repeat them on your actual interviews, right? All right, cool. Anything else before I share my screen? No?
Go ahead.
All right, cool. All right, so for today, the idea is to start talking with you about how to start preparing for virtual interviews, since we are doing everything remotely lately, right? And through VanHack, most of the interviews will happen uh, through calls and so on as well. So the idea here is to discuss more about like how to set up your environment, you know, tips about how to dress up, how to behave in the interview, and so on. Okay, and I shared the content with you guys a little bit earlier today. So the idea is that you guys get a sneak peek and you know, can already build your some comments, some contribution to jump into the conversation as well. Okay, so I don't want to be just speaking all the time. I want you guys to participate with me. Okay. All right, so this is one sentence that I really like. This year we had a webinar with Tom Cabelli. He's the founder and CEO at Codecast. And this was the sentence that got my attention. He said that every interview is different, so you have to improvise. So I would say this is the only thing we know for sure about every interview. This is the only certainty that we have, right? Another thing that he mentioned, and I thought it was very, very important, and I'm bringing to you guys, is there are some important principles when thinking about interviewing, right? So number one is that interviewing is a skill that needs to be mastered, right? So it means that you need to learn how to present yourself. You need to learn how to showcase your achievements, right? You need to know yourself very well on that level where you can speak about any of your experience, about any of your passion, and share it and build rapport with the interviewer. The number two would be treat interviews as conversation, not as a test. So this is where it's important to build that connection with the interviewer. Remember that when you are interviewing, you are exchanging offers with the company, right? It's not about just about answering their questions, but it's about demonstrating to them why you are the right person to solve the problems that they are facing, right? So you want to sell yourself to them. And number three is know as much as possible about the company. This is a very important step. You need to know like who are the key people from the company, who are the founder or founder, CEO, CTO, the hiring manager that will interview you, you know, people who can give you some hints of the culture of the company. You can always find them on LinkedIn, you know. I wouldn't connect with them like right away, but I would definitely maybe follow them on LinkedIn, get to know what they're sharing, what their thoughts are about the company, news, things that they are releasing, and so on. You need to know about the business that the company is in, and you need to know the product very well. And one hint here is if the company has like an app available or something that you can go for a free trial, uh, do it. You know, download the app, create an account, try to use the product as much as possible. So when you get to the interview, you already have that view as a customer and also as a professional, right? And another thing is getting to know the company will also help you to evaluate if that is the opportunity that makes sense to your career. You want to feel comfortable in that environment. Um, I've heard from another Van hacker who got hired that we deserve to be happy in the workplace. So it's very, very important that our values are aligned with the company because they are not, we are not going to feel comfortable. We will not want to stay. So it's very important to research about the company. Okay. Any question here? All good?
Yeah, one thing at LinkedIn, you don't even, of course, you can follow them and become a stalker. But you can also, at their page, there is the activity session where you can see the history of everything he liked, commented, and shared. So even not following or not connecting, you still have access to that.
Yes, exactly. And I would connect with someone, for example, if I have an interview confirmed with the hiring manager, then I would try connecting. Maybe when sending the request, sending the message, hey, we have an interview scheduled for this day. Would you mind connecting here? And so on, things like that. Or in the interview, you can ask, well, would you mind if I connect with you on LinkedIn and so on? So you can follow, you know, their activity and so on as well. Any other advice here?
Aline, I'd like to
Sure.
ask a question. Yeah, here in Brazil, we have some kind of tradition, like divide a meeting in steps. So we start with a small talk, some kind of small talk, and you go after direct to the point. And then at the end, this meeting, we finish with a small talk again, like to break the ice, you know? Do you recommend something like that in the interview or absolutely not?
That's a good question. Yes, you can definitely break the ice in the beginning. And one way to do that is get to know your interviewer. So, for example, you saw in their activity that they shared something related to an author that you like as well, or something you found interesting. Yeah, you can mention that, you know. It will not hurt to start the conversation, greeting them, you know, how has your day been, and so on. Introduce yourself. It's fine. It's fine. You don't want to make it too long, right? Because sometimes you have only 30, 40 minutes of interview.
Okay.
So you want to just quickly break the ice, but then, you know, be open to the interview itself.
Okay, thank you.
Aline, can I
Sure.
share an experience, a personal experience with everybody?
Sure.
So I was hired for a Canadian company some weeks ago. Today it's my first day. So my experience with the recruitment process from them, I was in 5 steps. Basically, this is, of course, each company have your own behavior, but I have the first conversation with somebody of from the company. After that, they gave me a task where I made. After that, they call me to see code live in code. After that, I have another meeting. The last one, the last round, was basically for everybody on the team know me and give me an impression and take an impression from me to see if I can be a good fit from the team. So was like that. So they are very, how can I say, serious in the process. And if they say something like make a double check, they will. It's completely different from Brazil, from my personal experience, and yeah, was very tough, but it's yeah, it is like it is.
Great. Congratulations, Alan, and thank you for sharing your experience. Yeah, so I would say knowing the company will allow you to feel how the conversation is going, right? And how to handle the conversation as well. So this kind of breaking the ice in the beginning of the conversation is just like for you to feel a bit more comfortable and so on, you know. And I have seen Van hackers doing that, like quoting things that they saw on LinkedIn and they found very interesting, you know, authors in common that they have read, um, as well as the interviewer, you know. So you, again, every interview is going to be different. Yes, Canada takes it very serious and they will double check your skills and your interest in the opportunity. But still, at the end of the day, you're interviewing with people and you're going to be working with that people, right? So you also want to understand if that makes sense for you as well, right? Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about um, a few steps to prepare. Like I divided in before the interview, the day of your interview, and after your interview, right? So if you guys have other experiences to share and so on, feel free. So before your interview, it's very important that you have all your environment set up, right? So you don't have any surprises at the day of the interview, and it's also the time for preparing. So the first step would be determine the best hardware you're going to use. So if you're more comfortable with your phone, make sure that you have a place to have it placed on a desk and so on, so it's not moving while you're speaking. I personally would rather to have interviews using my computer so I can sit comfortable. I can have access to any um, file that I would like to show them. You know, I can have any notes on the side and so on. But still, find what is more comfortable for you and what will help you to feel confident in the interview. You need to select a proper location for your interview. So I know that sometimes we are with family and so on. It's hard to have a quiet room. In my case, it's hard to have like a room where my cats are not in, but it's important to um, take it very serious as well, because distractions will not help you and not help the interviewer as well. So try to find a room where you can close the door. Tell your family that for 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, you will be in an interview, so you need to concentrate and so on. You know, test for background noise. Also, the background that they will see. Careful with things too busy, you know, too distracting, and so on. Another step is to test all the technology that you're going to use. So Make sure you have your computer charged, or your phone, your tablet, whatever you're using. It's very important. You don't want to run out of battery in the middle of the conversation. If you're going for live coding or whiteboard, um, test beforehand some different tools for whiteboarding, some different collaborative um, coding tools, and so on, so you're more comfortable at the time of the interview. um, and make sure that everything is working. You know, your internet connection is working, you have good lightning, and so on. And then it comes the time where, let's say you got selected to an interview. If it is through VanHack, and your talent manager is going to tell you that you can have a mock interview. So make sure you schedule your session with us before your interview happens. I know that sometimes it's very quick that things happen. So even if you're going to have your mock interview just a few hours before your interview, it's still valuable, right? But this is the chance to practice before your actual interview and get some feedback from us. Um, you can always set up mock interviews also with another partners. You know, we have a good community here on Slack. So anytime you guys want to keep practicing, you can invite each other for a quick chat, you know, and so on. You also need to plan for glitches because technology fails, right? We know that. So make sure you have a backup plan for your connection, for anything that can go wrong, so you don't panic at the time of the interview. And last but not least, make sure that you complete all the interview preparation steps. You can find like grades to fill out and practice telling your stories. Make sure you know how to present your resume. You can tell your experiences by heart. Um, Make sure you practice different questions, you know, different exercises. At Premium Academy, we are always practicing for behavioral interviews, for technical interviews, also communication. So we always have exercises to do in group and so on. So it helps you, even though it's not going to be exactly the same in the interview, but the idea is to get comfortable with that situation, right? By the way, if any of our members would like to share an experience um, regarding this, like the preparation and how it did benefit you in an interview, that would be awesome.
So I can give a little bit more about my experience.
Awesome.
Basically, what's happened from my side, the first interview, I tried to put my soft skills a little bit more with some highlight to show that somehow I am a open guy and have a good humor sensor. S- Uh, s- yeah, humor sense, and this was very good actually because think about you must to show something different. In my case, was more or less 300 candidates for two positions. So you must to keep relaxed. You have a lot guys against you. So try to show yourself. And if you have the first empathy, this is a very good plus. So you must to find a way to be unforgettable. I think this is the right word for that. And yeah, and take care of your internet connection. You don't want to lose the connection in the middle of the first interview. So you don't be anxious and just keep calm and relax. That
Yeah,
is.
awesome. Thank you for sharing, Alan. Yes, definitely. And you also don't want your voice breaking because it's very annoying when you're speaking with someone and the voice is breaking and you cannot understand completely what they're saying. So make sure that your connection is working flawless as well. Awesome, great tips.
I would like to share one thing that helped me a lot was to write down like the reasons why I think I am a good fit for the position. Not to read them during the interview, of course, but to have them in your short-term memory, right when they ask you something. Every single question we have an interview, you probably would like to share some experience that relates with the job description again. So you want to make that loop to make sure to the hiring manager or whatever that is interviewing you knows that you have the experience that they're looking for. So it doesn't matter what question it is, have that in mind that you, at least that this is my plan. I have an actual interview in 3 hours with the COO of the company, and this is how I got prepared for it. So for the mock interview, it worked wonderfully. I hope for the real deal now, it will still work.
Awesome, that's great, Fabricio. Congrats. Are you like going through a final round already?
No, I don't think it's a final round. They may have, because it's a startup. So I believe that everybody in the company is like C-level. So everybody there will be CEO, COO, CTO, or whatever. So I don't think it's the final round yet.
Yeah, for startups, it's very common to interview with the CEO. Yeah. So yeah, that is a great tip. Thank you for sharing. Definitely. So if you're going through different processes, different job postings, yes, for each job description, you definitely want to find that experience that matches the most, because those are the ones you want to share in an interview. Awesome. And yeah, just to finish the before your interview here, so just a reminder, practice your interviewing skills as well as the functions of the technology. If you can, record the interview so you can play it back for yourself. If you can't record it, ask your friend, colleague, or family member for as much feedback as possible, especially for how you look and sound. So the ones who have partners and the partners are going to join you in your adventure overseas, that's a good thing. You can have your partner practicing English with you. So that's another thing. Great. All right. So we know how to prepare for before the interview, right? We already know that we need to study about the company and we need to set up the environment. So what about the day of the interview, actually, right? This is the time that you really want to make a good impression, right? So a few steps here for the day of interview. Again, test all your equipment before the interview time. So 1 hour, 30 minutes before your interview, check your connection, check everything. Leave your computer ready. For example, if you're going to share something, have only the things that you want to share open on your computer, so you don't how can I say, you don't get confused, you don't get distracted, you don't spend too long searching for what you want to share in the screen and everything else, right? So for example, you can have your browser with your GitHub on one tab, things like that, you know, ready to, if the opportunity comes up, just tell them that you would like to share something. And if they agree, just go for it, right? You need to dress professionally, right? Remember, you're on an interview as if it was in person. So you don't want to be laying on your bed with your holding your phone. No way. You don't want to be on the couch like shirtless or something. You know, you don't want to be dressed up in any way that wouldn't be nice. So always go, and you can play safe in here. You don't want to wear a suit and tie, right? Just go for a casual professional look, a nice shirt, you know. um, for those who wear beard, groom and stuff, you know, have your hair looking nice and so on. Take it as if you were meeting the person, you know, in real life. Even though they're going to see you only from shoulder up, it's still important to be dressed professionally. And it also helps you to get your mind into that interview setup, right? When you dress for that situation, it makes you feel more confident. It feels like you are there actually, you know. So it's okay to be barefoot, but make sure that you're dressed up comfortable and professionally. Okay. I should make everyone stand up right now and see how you're dressed on the bottom, but I'm not gonna do that. All right. Another important thing that you need to do is turn off any notification, anything that would distract you, right? So turn off your phone or turn it, you know, face down. Turn off any notifications. Like sometimes you use WhatsApp and things on the web and it plays sounds, things like that. Just make sure that everything's closed, that you will have your attention only in the interview, right? And nothing will distract you, okay? Make sure your cats are sleeping in another room and so on. You need to remember your nonverbals, which means your body language. So since you're not there in person with the interviewer, it's very important to use your nonverbal communication to build the connection. So, for example, if you are someone who speaks with hands, like I do, make sure the interviewer sees your hands in camera as well. The way you sit down on the chair, you know, it demonstrates a lot about you. It demonstrates if you're interested, if you're not there, or if you are nervous. So pay attention on what your body is saying as well. Another one is look directly into the camera. I should do an exercise like of 3 minutes of everyone looking into the camera and presenting themselves. This is very important. I know it looks weird when you are speaking, but for the person who's watching you, it looks like you're making eye contact. So it's very important. Remember to have a conversation in the interview. It's not just about answering their questions, saying yes or no, or just giving them the answers like without any connection. But yeah, greet them, say hi, introduce yourself. You know, the interviewer is someone who's going to be working with you. So you want to build that personal connection with them as well. And another thing that you can do is show your passion when you speak. So when you share your achievements, it's easy to see when you are passionate about what you do, right? And you want to demonstrate that. One thing that Fabrizio mentioned, notes if you need them. Definitely, you don't want to read your answers in the interview, but you can definitely have like keywords or short sentences that will help you remember the stories that you want to tell. So definitely have them with you. It will help you a lot. Here, take a second, which means sometimes we will need a second to remember an answer. So it's okay to take our time and elaborate the answer. But another thing here is remember that we are using internet connection and there might be some delays. So always nod, you know, your head to demonstrate to the interviewer that you are listening, you are understanding the question. But you can also wait 1-2 seconds to give your answer. Another thing is always wait for them to finish the sentence, so you don't risk interrupting them when there is this delay. And another thing that you can do to make it clear that you finished your sentences as well. As for example, you're sharing your biggest achievement, that you helped the company increase something specific. In the end of your answer, you finish it very strong by saying, well, and this was how I helped the company to increase the incoming by this percentage. So the interviewer will understand that you told your story and you are finished, so they can proceed with another question. Okay. And last but not least, always ask questions and have like at least 5 to 10 questions ready, because some of the questions will be answered during the conversation. And in the end of the interview, they will definitely ask you if you do have questions for them. So, and it's not just any kind of questions, but you can have like smart questions to ask. So this is why it's important to do your research about the company, so you can find like interesting things about the company and use that to build some questions. Any questions related to what they're expecting for that position that you are interviewing. What are the challenges that they are facing currently, you know, so you can always do a connection with your own experience and so on, you know, and keep selling yourself, keep the conversation going. Okay. And just to wrap up here, yeah, so your worst enemy during an online interview may be your own nerves. So take a deep breath before the call and try to remain calm and collected during the interview. If you can communicate confidently with the interviewer, you are far more likely to leave a lasting positive impression than if you seem nervous. Remember, one of the best solutions for interview anxiety is practicing your answers ahead of time. So yes, that's why it's important to prepare and to, again, test everything beforehand at the day of your interview, make sure that the room is ready for you and so on. And yeah, another thing is always have like a glass of water with you or coffee, whatever, because, you know, when we are nervous, uh, our voice might start breaking and things like that. So we want to have some water there to help us. There's no problem in that. Okay. Anything here before we proceed? No. So let's say that you had your interview and you know that you did a good impression. So what can you do after that? And if anyone has any experience with following up after interviews and would like to share, feel free. So yeah, one suggestion would be always write a thank you note after your interview. Thank the interviewer for their time spent with you, you know, for the opportunity of getting to know them a little more, for chatting and so on, right? This is, it also causes another good impression, right, with the interviewer. You can also follow up on progress. So for example, let's say the interviewer gives you a date where they would be probably giving you some feedback. Wait for that date. If the date comes and you don't hear from them, you can definitely follow up with the person who interviewed you rather than the HR, right? So if you talked to a hiring manager, send them an email asking if the process is still going on. You would like to know, you know, what you expect from next steps and so on. If it's through VanHack, you have our talent managers who are our recruiters, the ones responsible to connect you with the companies. So you can always reach out to them as well, right? And of course, after your interview, you need to start preparing for next interviews. Either if it's another process, maybe you are going through 2 different processes. So you finished one interview, prepare for the other other company, other job description, and so on. Or you can start preparing for the next step with that same company. Sometimes you have like a cultural fit interview first, then you're going for a technical one. So you want to start preparing and kind of anticipating what you can face, you know, so in case they move forward with you, you are good to go already, right? Yeah, so yeah, again, just a reminder, as I said, if the interviewer gives you any date that they would be following up, wait for the date. If it doesn't happen, like if they don't reach out to you, just follow up with the interviewer, and you can also follow up with the talent managers from VanHack. Okay, anything here? No? Am I speaking too fast? No, all good? All right, awesome. And yeah, since I told about our talent managers, here's a hint on how to approach them and when to approach them, right? So if you are not in an ongoing process, or if you're still on your job searching, right? Even though you're going through interviews, you can still keep applying, right? So on Slack, either on the free community and the Premium Academy community, we have the job notification channel. So keep an eye on that, because our talent managers are constantly posting new vacancies there with the main skills, the things that they're looking for, and so on. So in there, you know who is the talent manager. The person who posts the job is the one responsible for that. So if you are interested to any of those, make sure that you apply. But also you can reach out to that talent manager, already telling them like why you are a good fit for that position. Instead of just saying like, or like, for example, replying the thread on channel saying, I applied, or I'm interested, or something. Give them more information, because our talent managers is the first person, is the first contact that you will have between yourself and the company. So if you make a good impression to our talent managers, you know, it's already a good step to take, because they can review your application and so on. So always, when you reach out to them, tell them why you are a good fit. So anything that you have done that makes you unique and a perfect fit for that. Pay attention on the must-have skills, if you do have them, mentioned to the talent manager, and so on. Another thing is, if you are already on a process in VanHack, you already have your talent manager, you already have interviews and so on. Remember that we move fast, but companies sometimes they move even faster. If they fall in love with you as a professional, they will want you like right away in their company, and they will get like interviews scheduled very fast and so on. So remember to always communicate to your talent manager as well. So share with them dates of interviews, any updates that the company might have told you directly, you know. So in case you need preparation, they can manage and contact our team, the success team, and have you booking mock interviews and so on, right? So communication is very important as well. And another hint that I would like to share is most of our communication will happen by email. So make sure that you don't miss any communication coming from vanhack.com. I myself have a filter on my personal email since 2018 when I joined VanHack. So I still receive emails. I don't miss any of them. So that's very important, because you're going to receive like emails from our talent managers, requests to book your mock interviews and so on. So it's important to keep an eye on that. Okay, cool. All right. So as I usually like to do some breakout room exercise. And for this, I will need you guys to be able to participate because, you know, a little networking is good for everybody. And we have like 72 participants here. So I will need to have Zoom assigning you guys randomly. So yeah, please make sure that you can, if you cannot speak, you can use the chat with your partners, okay? So here is the exercise for you guys to do. I will give you 15 minutes total. However, you're going to have 3 tasks to accomplish, and you need to keep an eye on the notification that Zoom allows me to broadcast to everyone. So I'll be in charge of the time, and I will tell you like, okay, round 1 finished, go to round 2, and so on. So we don't need to be going into breakout rooms and out again, okay? So the first thing that you need to do is you need to observe the environment where your teammates are. So if you guys can have your cameras open, that will be good for you. So observe what is happening around your partners and highlight points of improvements, because this is something that will help them and yourself in interviews and so on. Okay, let me check the chat first. All right. So the second thing is you want to introduce yourself to your teammates. So you want to use the elevator pitch technique. And this is where you tell who you are in up to 90 seconds. Can you do that? Have you done that before? So I want you guys to do some networking very quickly, tell who you are. You can go for your background, years of experience, you know, what you do, and so on, in 90 seconds, like maximum, okay? However, it's not just about introducing yourself, but you need to pay attention on your teammates as well. Because after that, after the introduction, I want you to highlight what got your attention when you heard your teammates presenting, okay? I see that some people is leaving the room, but guys, you can use the chat in the breakout room as well if you cannot speak. I wouldn't leave right now because we still have content after this, okay? So yeah, all good. Do you have any questions here? No? So yeah, if you cannot speak, for example, if you're just listening, make sure that you write in the chat your tips for the other person, for example, okay? Because it's tricky for me to like manually assign people to the rooms. So yeah. Okay, cool. All right. 15 minutes and I will let you know by message, right? In the breakout room broadcast message when it's time to switch for the next round. Okay, and you stay in the same room. You just switch to the next exercise, let's say. Okay, so first, take a look at the environment of your teammates and highlight points of improvements. Second task, introduce yourself to your teammates very quickly. And third task, tell your teammates what got your attention from their introduction. Okay? Deal? All right, opening all the rooms. I'll see you in 15 minutes. Okay, cool. Just a few seconds until everybody's back. All right, cool. We
Hey,
have
Oli.
everyone back. Hi, Chiran. How are you?
Hi. I'm fine, doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fine as well.
H-
Thanks for
How
asking.
was it, how was your year in shopping? In,
Can you can
in
you say that again?
I'm saying like how was your Friday shopping, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I the only thing I bought on Friday was wine.
That's not the thing people look forward. People look forward to gadgets. And I saw
Oh,
crazy lines and I saw damn crazy.
gadgets. The only thing I got was a drawing board. Finally. All right. Can you guys hear well?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Yes.
cool. So I'll just share the screen again so we have it here in the recording. But I would like to hear from some of you. How was your experience? Were you able to complete the 3 tasks?
Uh, yeah, Line. So this Umesh, in my group, we had 4 people total, and we were able to complete all the tasks. So we were keep an eye on your messages. So we were completing the task in between that. So it was good.
Right. And were you guys able to highlight points of improvement, highlight what
Yes.
got your attention, and so on?
Yes, we did. So few points we had observed about the others. So we mentioned about the same.
Mhm. Awesome. Great. Anyone else would like to share? Anything
Yes,
curious
Elaine.
happened?
Yes, Elaine. Anup here. So I don't have a video on. I'm sorry for that. So me and Ufe were in one room, breakout number 9. So there were 2 points that I could give him. So one was that the light was behind his head, so I was not able to see him properly. That was one thing. And the very positive point about the interaction was that Ufe was smiling throughout the entire call. So it left a positive impact, and I really felt that it is very good.
Mhm.
And also about the elevator pitch, I really like this way how he organized his experience. So yeah, that's all I have. For the third option, we were not able to get the enough time, so we had to like halfway back into this room. Yeah.
All right. But you just gave the highlight right now, right? That you liked how it was organized. The speech was organized.
Yes. Yes.
All right, great. Anyone else would like to share your experience in the breakout room?
Can I?
But go ahead.
No, thank you. I think I was in the room number 11, and the guys told me about my environment. My camera is a little far from me, and a lot of my room are appearing in the interview that I made with them, and they recommended me to move my camera a little bit more closer to not show much of my environment, and everything else was fine. The audio was good. A little low light in my case because we are facing a power outage here, and I'm on battery. But that's it. Not more to add. The other guys in my room are with a good illumination, good microphone, no noisy background, very fine. That's it.
Awesome. Great.
So I was in the room 1. So in the beginning was 4 people, but one failed. But basically, my 2 colleagues was very friendly. The space that the environment from them side was quite good. I have just one small tip for them, and try to have a very clean environment to don't make the recruiter lose the focus from them. and about introduce themselves and the elevator pitch was quite good. I share with them something that I learned in VanHack, that it's a car tip. It's context, action, and result. So how you have to explain everything that you are proposing, so to make them more objective and don't lose the focus and don't mix things that don't are related with the question. So was quite good, very productive.
That's a great tip. Yeah, and we're going to see more of that tomorrow in the behavioral interview. Yeah, good one. Anyone else? One last sharing?
I think I was in the room 13, but I don't see my colleagues here in the list anymore.
Mhm.
So, yeah, by far, my room was the messiest, my background, and the other guy, he has the cleanest background, but there was clothes hanging up from one corner, so that was a bit distracting. And the other guy had um, virtual background setup, which he put together in a short time. So I guess he couldn't find a better image. So yeah, by far my room was the worst. But in the elevator pitch, I think we all did okay, and we kind of shared our uh, beginning and which major company we worked for, and what we are currently working with, and what we specialize in, sort of things. So from elevator pitch, I found the interesting thing that the designer, we actually had a full stack team. Actually, I am from infrastructure side, like DevOps, and one was backend and one was designer. So we made one full stack application team. So the designer guy, he had mentioned that he worked for a bank and e-commerce applications. So that was kind of very specific. I like that, in a sense that if he applied for someone looking for those kind of qualities, they'll exactly know that he worked on those kind of situations before. And Aziz, I think his name was, he was from backend developer, and he put up a lot of his experience with cloud and things he had to do beyond his job responsibilities, like hosting servers and everything. But he is a developer. So both of their elevator pitch kind of interested me, that yeah, I found that interesting, that they were specific, and they also mentioned that they went beyond their responsibilities to do things proactively.
Very
That
awesome.
was fun.
Cool.
uh,
Yeah.
can I share just a small silly tip?
Yeah, sure.
uh, I remember from my first interview with the company that I was hired, something that I made to hide my environment. I configured a background on the Zoom. You can do this, I think, in Zoom or Skype or whatever. But the image that I put behind me, I put a forest with a huge dinosaur behind me. Was quite funny because it looked like a honeypot. So every time we start to talking about this image, so every time I was saying that I got the picture from my last vacation, and we have a time to make the interview a little bit more light and soft, and show some soft skills. This is something very good. Look silly, but make difference when you show that you are not equal of everybody.
Yes, exactly. That's a good one. And yeah, that's one solution for hiding your background, as you mentioned. And also, it's another way to demonstrate some of your soft skills. Yeah, awesome. That's great. I like that one. And what about eye contact, guys? Did you pay attention when your partners were speaking, if
Yep.
they were looking to the camera?
Yes.
Yeah.
We decided in the beginning, and we did it.
Awesome. Great. That's perfect. All right. So we have just, sure.
I just have information because we are talking about elevator pitch, and you're gonna have some some audience about it. Some I forgot the name, but it's going to start in 10 minutes.
Yes, exactly. That's why I'm not holding you guys longer. So we're finishing 10 minutes, so you guys can run to the next webinar to learn a little bit more about the elevator pitch. Yeah. Just want to share something with you guys. Yes, we're going to have some homework, okay? Because interviewing takes a lot of effort. So one thing that I want you guys to prepare for tomorrow on your own time, okay? And you're going to use it to any interview that you're taking, not just for tomorrow. So use the STAR methodology to tell your stories. I linked one webinar with Marina in the resources. I'll show you. And she explains the STAR methodology, but it's very close to the CAR methodology. The idea is to organize the information from your achievements, so you have a concise way to share it. So think about things that happen in your career, where a time where you took initiative, a time where you had a leadership experience, something about critical thinking and problem solving, something about creativity and innovation, something about working with others, something about communication, something about overcoming obstacles and flexibility. So this chart can help you to build your stories. So you can start, for example, the leadership one. Tell what the situation was, what were the tasks that you had to perform, the actions you took, and the result that you achieved. Okay, so this is one thing that you can do. In general, think about your career, think about general stories, achievements that you're proud of that you would like to share, okay, and try to build those stories. Another thing that you can do is you can choose, if you are going through an interview already, a hiring process already, you already have a job description that you are working on, so you can use that. If you're not, you can choose one on VanHack or any job description that gets your attention. Pay attention on the requirements and try to connect your stories to what is required for that position, okay? Because one thing is to know how to tell your experiences. The other thing is know how to connect to that job description, you know, and give the right information in the interview. Okay, so this is a quick exercise. You guys can think about it before tomorrow. And to finish quickly, I want to hear from you guys. In one word, what did we learn today? One word, share a highlight from the session.
Self-marketing.
Okay.
Compound work is cheating.
Okay, one quick sentence.
Being
Shared
proactive.
knowledge.
Prepare.
Being
Preparing.
proactive. Yeah, being proactive.
Yes, sales page, communication, in
Yes.
the chat.
Plan. Being observant.
Being observant. Yeah, cool.
Summarizing.
Summarizing. I see in the chat, practice STAR, smile, clean my house before attending the meeting. I mean, if you can have just a plain wall behind you, that's fine.
Pay attention to other person's body language, like recruiter's body language.
Yes, exactly. It will tell you how interested they are in you as well. Great. Anything else?
You need to sell yourself, actually.
Yes. All right. Anything else? Listen before you speak. That's a great one in the chat. Yes, definitely. Cool. All right, great. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, as I said, I don't want to hold you guys too long here, so you can prepare for the webinar as well. Just want to show you some resources that I used to create this session today. The behavioral interviewing grid is from this PDF, so you have options. There are some interview questions here, interesting ones here. You can take a look. This is the webinar that Marina from VanHack did. The webinar is about the profile, but I shared the link when she starts talking about the STAR methodology, so you can watch there. And this is the webinar I mentioned that we had with Tom. It was mostly about coding interview, but he has good tips there as well. Okay. Last but not least, since some of you are not members of our Premier Academy yet, just want to remind you guys that we still have our Black Friday discounts going on through Friday. Okay, so just a quick reminder. And this kind of session is a sneak peek of what you would see in the classes, in the interview classes, right? So yes, I shared the presentation in the Google Calendar invitation. So you guys will have the links for the resources in there, okay? And yes, last but not least, thank you so much for joining me. It was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed as well. And yeah, any final comments, any final questions before we finish?
Aline, one question.
Sure.
So for the background, what is better? Like we can have virtual background or the room pictures normally?
It can be a virtual background. If you don't have a way to prepare a room for the interview, I think the virtual background is a solution, right? Yeah, just make sure that, for example, there's nothing, how can I say, some backgrounds, they don't see like your ears or something. Just make sure that everything is on the screen, okay? Yeah, and depending on the company, you can go for Alan's advice and have something that will make the conversation more light, you know, more friendly, or you can just turn your camera to a plain wall behind yourself, you know. So the idea, like, that's the main thing. Okay.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks.
All right, awesome. Any final question? No? Okay, so you guys have 2 minutes to grab more coffee and water and go for the next webinar and learn everything about elevator pitch. Okay? All right. Thanks again for joining me.
Thanks,
I'll see
Aline.
you again tomorrow.
Thank you.
For discussing behavioral interviews.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a great one,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.